gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, in school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jenquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jenquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me? Well, it has been another active weekend of gun violence here in Metro Atlanta. Fox 5's Kim Leffler joins us from the live desk. Kim, many of these incidents have involved our youngest of citizens here.
So when he says the youngest of citizens, he's talking about the super teen gremlins on demon time. And yes, unfortunately, we do have a lot of youngins out here in these streets getting active, wreaking havoc. And it is, I mean, it's definitely like making the community look bad. Okay, these single mother raised super gremlins are active in the streets, and they're not letting up on anybody.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And those weren't the only cases of gun violence we saw in Metro Atlanta this weekend. Now some organizations working to prevent violent crimes in their community are strengthening their call for something to be done.
Overnight Saturday, 2 people on Lee Street were shot when police say an argument ended in gunfire. On Saturday afternoon, an 8-year-old was shot in Fayetteville when police say a man fired a weapon inside the home, hitting the child in a separate room. In DeKalb County, police are investigating a double shooting Sunday afternoon that left 1 man dead and another critically injured. Those are just some of the cases involving guns in Metro Atlanta in the last 48 hours.
We absolutely believe that gun violence in Georgia is a public health crisis and that we need to address this as a public health crisis.
It's interesting coming from the blue-haired feminists when we know that obviously she's going to blame it solely on the guns. She's not going to hold these super gremlins accountable at all. And I mean, it's a you know, who'd she vote for, right? It's really the reality. A lot of these feminists, a lot of these women, a lot of these people in the community, they voted for this. The leftists, whatever you want to call it, they're the ones who voted for this.
Using the same framework that we use for any disease state public health crisis.
Now, advocates say what we saw over the weekend is another example of the need for change at the state level.
We have been asking under the dome, our General Assembly, to at least study the crisis in Georgia Let's actually get Georgia numbers. Let's actually know where are the pockets of violence, where is this happening most, who's most affected.
Many organizations have been taking action and pushing for change in recent weeks. Earlier this week, faith leaders kicked off prayer walk initiatives that began over the weekend with the goal to address violence in the community.
From this day going forward, this We Care initiative, it's about bringing about the change. We're getting ready to trouble the city.
And advocates say the impact of crimes like this can at times.
I gotta stop him right there. I'm sorry, but the prayer walk is not gonna help. It's not gonna help at all because these super gremlins, they don't believe in God like that. These super gremlins are on demon time, so they're gonna do what thy will. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. Okay. So it really starts at the home. You got to get them very young, elementary school. So otherwise, you know, they're going to have to bump their heads. Okay. And by bumping their heads, I mean probably shooting somebody in the face, not facing accountability at that time, you know, getting away with certain things in their lives. And then later on getting caught up in all of the things that they've been involved with, kind of catching up to them. At that time, they lose 30, 40 years of their life. Okay.
Times be long lasting.
That's why we see this as a public health crisis. It's affecting the physical health of the citizens of Georgia.
But I do know from this day going forward, this
Atlanta, on Friday night, 9 children were injured in a shooting at a Columbus, Georgia gas station. At the live desk, Kim Luffler, Fox 5 News.
Police are on the scene of a deadly shooting in southeast Atlanta. It happened in the store parking lot on Jonesboro Road. And Channel 2's Brian Mims is live there on the scene with what police are telling you right now. Brian.
Good morning, Fred. This is the Little Bear Food Mart on Jonesboro Road. Police cleared the scene within the past hour, so we have some video from earlier in the morning to show you what it looked like. The call came around 1:30 in the morning about a person shot. Homicide Commander Jermaine Dearlove told us when officers arrived, they found a man shot to death in the parking lot.
Damn.
He's currently, that other involved party is at police headquarters right now, being interviewed by investigators to get a understanding of what occurred and what led to the shooting incident.
He says an escalating dispute between the suspect and the victim that started inside the store led to the shooting. Police have not released any names, but they do have a person of interest they are questioning. Police say the suspect and the victim each had a gun. They described the victim as a man in his early 30s. Again, it happened here in the parking lot of the Little Bear Food Mart.
Suspect and victim each had a gun. You know, a ninja moment gone wrong. I can't say the real world, even though, you know, other YouTubers get to say what they want. No censorship. I'm trying to keep it clean. I have reapplied for monetization. So I'm pretty sure they're going to put me on probation for the whole 30 days to see if I slip up, and I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it, y'all. But yeah, I mean, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Ninja moment gone wrong. Obviously can happen at any time. And that's the scary part.
Continue pressing for details and give you updates as the morning unfolds. Fred.
Brian, thank you very much. Questioning someone right now in this deadly shooting. We'll be looking for more details. Thank you.
Unfulfilled. That's how a group of Atlanta residents who used to live at the Forest Cove Apartments describe what has happened to them since Mayor Andre Dickens moved them out of that property in disrepair.
The mayor touted relocating 300 families temporarily as a big accomplishment during his first year. Fox 5's More Stiggs shows us the emotional appeals from some of those residents who say their lives are still not on a solid footing.
Wow. So Andre Dickens basically removed, displaced, if you will, individuals in a condemned apartment complex, condemned based off of many reasons, you know, infrastructure, violence, whatnot. And, you know, these people were apparently supposed to get, I guess, some extra assistance in moving, and they were not able to get it. So we're catching up with them to see where they're at and see what they actually received.
They're called the Forest Cove Apartments, and what was done out there was a signature accomplishment for a district council member as well as Mayor Dickens. But those residents who were moved say they were promised a number of things. Right now, promises unfulfilled.
These closed Atlanta apartments had deteriorated so badly, city officials had to step in with a pledge to try to get them rebuilt.
So these apartments are just toe up from the flow up. They're trying to rebuild them. I think you should just tear the whole thing down, start anew. But these people were not keeping up with this building, whoever owned it and the residents alike.
And find temporary spaces for the tenants.
They sent us out to different places around the area of Atlanta. It ain't working out. Y'all, please let us go back home. Please.
And that's the deteriorating state of the community, is that they want to go back to that bando. That's where the community is at today. And look, I mean, look at the residents. So, I mean, it's full of single women, single black women, single mothers. I don't see how they're begging to go back there. That don't look like a proper residence for a strong, independent woman in her chilling or her cheering. Okay. No wonder these dudes are coming up so grimy nowadays, because they're living in infestation. And I mean, the fact that they're begging to go back is scary.
Promise to have transportation for our kids if we wish to keep them in the school district.
There you go.
Furniture, they told us about resources we did not get. My son was able to go to college, and I've been able to do it with these living conditions. I'm hurt. The communication is bad. What you see on news is not happening.
Let's give them a round of applause.
I asked the district councilman, who immediately met with everyone who came to City Hall last week, about these complaints.
There was a myriad of concerns from various people that came. Some were very, specific. I need a MARTA card, or I have not had a lot of communications around, getting furniture or other things, that resources that they had been promised.
The project, which is under federal jurisdiction.
So I don't know what all everybody did receive, but at the end of the day, who's paying for this? This is a tax. This is coming off of the taxpayers' dime, y'all. We are paying for, good. I wish them well. Hope they can move in with some family, but hey, like, how long have y'all had time to get things together? I know it's grimy. I know it's gutter, but I know you was not paying that much rent there. I know you couldn't have been paying over $400. So you had time to stack your bread. It's just the irresponsibility for me.
Jurisdiction faces hurdles before residents can possibly return, including the approval of tax credits for construction.
They want to come back to their community. They don't want to be forgotten, and we won't forget them.
And so the city does own enough land very close to the old Forest Cove in which Atlanta can control the build out, and these residents can come back to their old neighborhood with some patience. It can happen.
And they gonna tear it up and turn it to Forest Cove 2.0. I mean, what do y'all think this is?
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. All right, guys. So, man, we have a story for you today. It's a bad one. It is a rough one. We have a brother by the name of Romeo Nance who's crashed out. All right. Crashed all the way out. And what I mean by that is he's completely ruined his life all within, you know, a few hours. And this story is scary because this guy deleted 8 people. He took out 8 people in the process of deleting himself. So these guys are very unhinged nowadays. It's pretty frightening. It's pretty sad. But this is the state of the community. This is the state of the community, and we continue to talk about these crash out guys, these super gremlins who are crashing out randomly, crash dummies, crash test dummies. And this has become the norm. Somebody willing to completely ruin their life for no apparent reason, no justification, no reasoning. It's just insane. So I want to get straight into it and review some of these news stories that are talking about it.
First, though, here at 10, breaking news in Joliet. Police say 8 people are dead and a 9th injured in a 2-day crime spree.
Right now, a manhunt is underway for the suspect that investigators believe is behind it all.
Take a look at your screen. This is 23-year-old Romeo Nance. He's believed to be driving a red Toyota Camry.
So as you guys can see, he's got a history. They've got a recent mugshot of him. And a lot of times, these guys are getting out on crimes that they shouldn't be getting out on. And then because they feel the pressure, because when a ninja is on probation, he feels that pressure, right? He feels that paranoia because he believes that if he violates, he's going to go back to jail. But many times, especially in this day and age, that's not necessarily the case. I remember a few years back, we were talking about the Meek Mill situation, and Meek Mill had violated his probation by, I think he was riding dirt bikes in the street and all this kind of stuff, still had gang affiliations and whatnot. He violated his probation. They arrested him, sent him back to prison. And then people were protesting, saying he needed to be released. And that was one of the main, I think that was a pivotal time in the community when it comes to criminal justice reform, because after that, he started pushing criminal justice reform in Philly, and we see how Philly has turned out over the years. So I think during that time, there was a big push for criminal justice reform, and they reformed it in the wrong ways, all right? They made it easier for these criminals to slip through the cracks. They made it easier for them to get back out onto the streets after committing a very dangerous crime.
With Illinois plates Q730412, police say he should be considered armed and dangerous.
CBS 2's Maribel Gonzalez spoke with investigators and joins us live from Joliet tonight. Maribel.
Yeah, Joe and Eric, 7 of those murders happening inside 2 homes right behind us. A crime police are calling heinous in the neighborhood. Fear, shock, and grief, especially as the suspect remains on the run.
I've been a policeman 29 years. This is probably the worst crime scene I've ever been associated with.
Woo! 29 years on the job. He's seen a lot being in that Chicago area. Apparently, these are the suburbs of Chicago, so it's outside of the city. So a lot of people say, oh, man, this ain't Chicago. This ain't Chicago. Okay, but y'all are within like an hour shot, 30 minutes to an hour shot. So we're considering this Chicago. All right. But yeah, he's been in an area that's very hot and known for super gremlin violence. Okay. So it's a scary situation, especially by him saying this is the worst that he's seen in 29 years. Because I'm sure that this guy has seen a lot.
8 murders at 3 different locations. At the center of the investigation, this man, 23-year-old Romeo Nance, now on the run and considered armed and dangerous.
We will do everything in our power here at the Joliet Police Department to bring the person responsible for this to justice.
Sunday, Will County Sheriff's deputies responding to this apartment complex in unincorporated Joliet Township following reports of a man shot in the head. He was taken to the hospital where he died.
The victim in our incident has been identified as Toasai Bakar. He's 28 years old. He is originally from Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
He's been living in the Will County area for the past 3 years.
Wow. So it looks like he ran across an immigrant, right? An African immigrant. And I actually made a video on how the diaspora is beefing right now. You have ADOS or FBA, Foundational Black Americans or African Descendants of Slaves, beefing with Africans, okay? First generation, second generation immigrants. And it's kind of crazy because just a couple years ago, we were screaming BLM, Black Lives Matter. And now you've got, Black Americans beefing with Africans and Caribbeans and calling people tethers. And, oh, you're a tether, you're this, you're that. You're not an actual African American. Black isn't African. It's only African American. This is a subject that has caused a lot of stir and debate online, saying that Black is only defining African Americans or American Blacks, and you essentially can't call an African Black. And this is coming from the FBA side and whatnot. So the Africans felt some type of way about that, and especially the Africans in the UK, because they consider themselves to be Black. And yes, they consider themselves to be African, but they want to fall under that Black umbrella. And you just have so much back and forth. But for this to occur, where you have an African man who was shot and killed, it definitely doesn't calm the waters, if you will, of this diaspora beef that we've got going on.
10 minutes prior to that, reports of another person shot and injured. Authorities say Nance's red Toyota Camry spotted at both of those scenes. They traced his car registration back to one of the homes on the 2200 block of West Acres Road, where deputies staked out in case he came back. Monday, they made a horrific discovery.
Shortly before noon this morning, our officers then went to a residence, located blood outside of the residence, and made entry where they found 2 deceased individuals.
Across the street where police say relatives of those victims lived, another 5 people found shot dead. Right now, investigators not saying if those are Nance's family members, only that they are known to the suspect. Also unclear how long they had been there.
It's shocking to me that this stuff doesn't just happen on TV, it's real.
It's just scary. I mean, I think the whole neighborhood is just reeling and praying for families, obviously, that have lost someone.
And remember, Chicago actually passed a law where you could bond out on second-degree murder, and you could bond out on robbery. Not Chicago, but the whole state of Illinois, rather. So it's it's pretty much free reign, especially in the Chicago area, where you have Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is doing a horrible job and reportedly having panic attacks every other day because he's not fit to, be in the position that he's in.
Court documents show that Nance listed an address on this street as his home address when he was charged with an aggravated discharge of a weapon, and that he was out on bond on that case. Right now, local...
So he was out on bond on aggravated discharge of a weapon. And I just want to really just want to explain the mentality of how these guys feel internally when they are out on bond. When they just get arrested, a lot of times these guys feel like it's the end of the world. And although it could be a severe hindrance in your future, it can also be a wake-up call. And I think that a lot of these young black men who end up getting arrested on stupid charges and violent charges and whatnot. When they get arrested, when they finally get caught, and then they're put on papers, a lot of these guys feel the weight of the world on their shoulder, and this is self-inflicted, but it doesn't change what they feel inside. So they're feeling pressure. They're feeling like a dog who's cornered. So any little thing is going to set him off because, man, I'm on papers, man. Now he's feeling a false sense of masculinity as well, because he feels like he's super hard because he got arrested. But at the same time, he's on edge because being arrested will do that to you, and having your freedom taken away and put in having restrictions put on the way that you can move in the outside world. It weighs on you mentally, emotionally. So he's probably feeling that subconsciously. Obviously, these super gremlins aren't going to outwardly acknowledge that, man, I'm just not feeling like myself. I'm not feeling as confident. I'm feeling like a failure. Like, they're not going to say that, but you know that weight is on them, and they feel that internally. So with all the pressure on them, any little thing could have sparked this violent outbreak, and violent it was.
Investigators working with the FBI to find him. They're asking the public to remain vigilant. Reporting live in Joliet, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
Maribel, thank you.
And guys, don't worry. He is no longer with us. He self-deleted. So you don't have anything to worry about. But, I mean, this guy, he's bad news. But what people aren't understanding is this is so common in the community. 8 people is, 8 people is pretty extreme. But we've seen mass shootings in the community that render similar results. Okay? We've seen this time and time again. So I need people to understand that this isn't a one-off. This is going to happen again. And it might even be more people involved next time. And that's why, for one, we need to step up, take group accountability for the culture that we've created, right? And then we need to acknowledge that this is actually happening and try and work to do something about it. Because if we don't, then we're up for a rude awakening. Because these super gremlins are on demon time.
This morning, the manhunt for a suspect wanted for killing 8 people in Illinois is over. The 8 victims were found shot and killed in 3 different locations in the Chicago area over the weekend. The suspect then led authorities on a manhunt across state lines. Charlie DeMore has more.
Fear gripped this quiet street in the Chicago suburbs Monday morning after police warned of a killer who was armed and dangerous was on the loose. On Sunday, Will County Sheriff deputies discovered a man who later died of his gunshot wounds. The next day, they staked out the home where they believe the suspect, Romeo Nance, lived. Eventually, police knocked on the door, and when there was no response, they tried relatives across the street. Police say a blood trail led them to find 5 people who had been shot and killed inside. 2 other bodies were discovered in the first home.
I've been a policeman 29 years. This is probably the worst crime scene I've ever been associated with.
At all 3 crime scenes, police say the same car was spotted, a red Toyota Camry believed to have been owned by Nance. A break in the case occurred over 1,000 miles from Joliet and about 100 miles from the Mexican border in Natalia, Texas, outside San Antonio. After being spotted by marshals, Medina County Sheriff said Nance engaged in a standoff with police.
The suspect was basically cornered, and at some point in there, he took his own life.
Charlie DeMar, Joliet, Illinois, CBS News.
So as you can see, he crashed out, completely crashed out. But this is what is happening in Chicago. This is what drill culture has created. Okay? This is what the complete overhaul of the justice system has created. Little spawns of Satan. Super gremlins on demon time. I mean, to delete 8 people, it takes a different level of evil. It really does. Shout out to Osa, the healer, with the $2 super trap.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Shout out to Osa with the $2 super trap. He says, salute my G. Gliders got to do better. Suns are done. Yeah, and it's tough, man. It is tough to look at this every single day and say, what the hell are we doing in the community? You know, especially looking internally, you're just like, when did this start happening in mass? And then when you really start looking at it, you're like, damn, I mean, I guess this is something that has always been going on. We just never really opened our eyes to it. And now you have a complete explosion of these type of activities, and it's not going nowhere anytime soon.
First at 5, the city of Natalia, southwest of San Antonio, has a population of a little more than 1,000, yet it is making national headlines today. A suspected mass murderer from the Chicago area ended his run from the law and his life in Natalia on Monday night.
Courtney Friedman with how investigators from Illinois tracked him all the way here and how he again escaped their grasp, this time forever.
We have a lot of questions. When did this shooting spree start? Did he know anyone in Texas? And how did those Texas plates make it on that vehicle? I got a lot of answers today.
We now know 23-year-old Romeo Nance went on his shooting spree on Sunday in the city of Joliet outside of Chicago. 9 total people were shot. 8 died. They believe the first shootings were at 2 houses across the street from each other.
Blood located on the front of the door and fresh gunshot wounds to the door.
Monday morning, they found 5 bodies in one house, 2 in the other. Joliet Police Chief Bill Evans confirmed those 7 people, ranging in age from 14 to 47, were related to Nance.
14 to 47. So this man killed a 14-year-old. This is hard to digest because I'm telling you guys right now, the community as a whole, they just don't believe that this is happening. We're in complete denial. I tell you that much. Complete denial. Shout out to Product of Cook County with the $4.99 super trap. He says, salute to Black Gen Z and the BGZM Nation. Summer is going to be hot this year.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Now, you're absolutely right. You do not want to be caught lacking outside this summer.
As to exactly what type of relationship there was within the family, right now we're still sorting through that.
2 shootings after that seemed to be random. One person died, the other lived.
By around 8 p.m., a helicopter had located the suspect vehicle on I-35, and Texas law enforcement was mobilizing additional resources to stop the vehicle.
By then, Nance's red Toyota Camry had new Texas license plates.
We do think that he stopped at a mall someplace in Texas, and he was able to steal some Texas license plates and put them on the vehicle to throw off law enforcement.
It didn't work. Officers caught up to him in Natalia at the Chubby's Travel Center near I-35 and FM 471.
Task force officers with the United States Marshal Service observed Mr. Nance armed with a firearm fleeing from the vehicle. It's at that time they gave chase to him. He rounded the corner around the gas station and decided to take his life.
So far, investigators don't believe Nance had any connections or family here in Texas, but I did confirm that the Texas Rangers are now leading the investigation, and they're going to continue looking into that.
And I'll tell you what, you definitely don't want to flee to Texas if you're going to do something like this. I mean, that was just, it was just stupid, man, because they don't play it out there in Texas. and you will easily get put down out there. So he should have probably just scurried to Chicago and kicked it, in O Block or something like that. At least he would have been insulated by the community, and they probably would have, concealed his identity for as long as they possibly could, because we understand the no snitch rule would have been in full effect. I mean, he would have been looked at as a legend in the city of Chicago, strictly off of deleting 8 people alone. So, we talk about these serial killers, and we've got serial killers in the community. They just never get that recognition of being a notorious serial killer. Probably because they are black, and it's something that's not really talked about. But I mean, we got guys with hella bodies in the hood who aren't getting Netflix specials and biopics made after them because it's considered to be just a regular day in the hood.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's.
So, this story, it only keeps getting worse. Okay. It really does.
Still breaking. The man wanted in connection with the murders of 8 people over the weekend in Joliet is dead.
Police say the suspect shot and killed himself after a manhunt by multiple law enforcement agencies in Texas. CBS 2's Mugo Odigwe joins us live now with new details about these murders. Mugo.
Yeah, good morning. So we know this case involves 3 different locations, and it happened over 2 days in Joliet. As you both mentioned, the suspect in this case was found dead 1,200 miles away in Texas last night. Now, here is what we have learned from investigators. According to Joliet police, the investigation started on Sunday night after 2 separate shootings, one of those shootings deadly. The common link in those shootings, a red Toyota Camry. That car was registered to the suspect, 23-year-old Romeo Nance, on your screen. Deputies traced the registration to a home on the 2200 block of West Acres Road. They set up surveillance in the area in case Nance came back. But then on Monday, investigators made a horrific discovery. 2 people were found dead inside a home on Acres Road, and across the street where police say relatives of those 2 victims lived, 5 more people were also found shot to death.
Yeah.
Now, investigators still haven't said if those are Nance's family members, only that they are known to Nance. Meanwhile, neighbors.
And this is not getting national coverage. This is not getting the highlight that we are used to seeing. I personally have been looking on, Instagram to get a reaction from the community. And, there are some reactions, but it's just not enough to move the needle. Okay. People are not really taking this situation as, a situation that is reoccurring. They're taking it as a one-off. Especially the feedback that I'm seeing from the community. And we'll actually go to some, black blogs and see what they're talking about and how they're viewing this shooting, and, maybe some feedback that could potentially be encouraging or discouraging from people in the community, depending on how you look at it.
Are still trying to make sense of all of this.
It's shocking to me that this stuff doesn't just happen on TV. It's real.
It's just scary. I mean, I think the whole neighborhood is just reeling and praying for families, obviously, that have lost someone.
Now, Nance went on the run after those shootings, but police say he shot and killed himself in Natalia, Texas last night during a confrontation with police officers. We're live in Joliet. Mugo Odigwe, CBS 2 News.
Let's see. Let me see. I got some more video for you guys. And some feedback from the locals who are reacting to this situation.
Right now at 4:30, more on the breaking news out of Joliet, where a killing spree claimed the lives of 8 people.
We're just learning new details about the victims. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza is live in Joliet. Sabrina, most of the victims were related.
We are now learning that the people who were living in the homes across the street from each other, just behind this police tape, were all 7 of the victims of this one incident, and they were all related to each other and the shooter.
Damn.
The houses across the street from each other on West Acres Road. Inside one, 4 females, ages 14, 16, 20, and 38, and one man, also 38 years old. In the other, a man who was 35, and another woman, she was 47. All
Damn.
of them shot to death. Later, police connected these shootings to 2 others about 10 minutes drive away from here, and to 28-year-old Romeo Nance, the suspected shooter. At a nearby apartment complex, 28-year-old Toyosi Bakari, who was originally from Nigeria and is not believed to be related to the other victims, was found shot in the head. He later died in the hospital. At another scene, the only surviving victim was caught on surveillance video walking to his car when the driver of a red sedan, who police say was also Nance, passed by once, twice, then fired 9 shots out the window.
Wow. And it looks like he did a drive-by in this case. What we know to be sliding, okay? But he didn't have any real ops. It was just he just crashed out. I don't know any other way to describe his actions but completely crashing out.
Hitting this victim in the leg. We spoke with that victim's neighbor.
He's been there about 5 years. Never had a problem. He never has parties. I don't even think he drinks. He don't smoke. He don't do anything. All he does is work on cars. And for this to happen to him, you know, some people, I ain't going to say they deserve anything, but for a guy of his stature that doesn't really do anything, it's kind of sad to just walking out on a Sunday and you can't even go to your car without getting shot.
Just moments ago, we heard back from the Will County Coroner's Office, who released some additional names of those victims. They are 38-year-old Christine Esters, 47-year-old Tamika Nance, 35-year-old William Esters II, 31-year-old Joshua Nance, 20-year-old Alexandria Nance,
Damn.
and the 16 and 14-year-old females are still unidentified. Police.
Damn, so he killed a 16 and 14-year-old female. All right, well, 2 females. Guys, what did I tell you? Nobody's off limits. Women, children, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Say Nance died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after he fled from Joliet to Texas. We'll keep you posted as soon as we learn more information about their relationship and what exactly happened here. We're live in Joliet. Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Sabrina.
So very disturbing news coming out of the community. And there's actually a video going viral of some brother who is crashing out online and basically admitting to deleting a lot of people, right? This guy on Instagram Live, I believe he he essentially admits to multiple murders, and it's not this same guy that committed these crimes, Romeo Nance, but it kind of gives you in a perspective, rather different outlook, or maybe give you some understanding on how these guys are really thinking and what's going through their minds. So I do want to play that before we get to the next news clip, because the mentality, you have to understand it. And then you also have to be able to identify what is going through these guys' heads, and hopefully being able to avoid situations like this. So let's run it. This is the actual mentality of a lot of these super gremlins in the community. So I'm going to play it. If it'll act right. Here we go.
Die around me. Sterling Matthews is doing a life sentence right now. Is doing a life sentence right now in Cumberland for somebody I killed. Somebody I killed on Halloween with a Hellraiser mask. I had that Glock 17 and that 25 caliber that night that killed Daquan. I did that shit 2010 Halloween. Pen razor mask.
So you hear what he's saying. The self-snitching is real. And I guess it's not snitching as long as you're telling on yourself. But he admits to committing this heinous crime and deleting another black man on Instagram Live. And I'm just trying to illustrate to you guys the mentality of how these guys are actually thinking before and after they commit these types of crimes.
Boy, Sterling ain't do that shit. I love you, woo baby, but he ain't do that shit. Big Rambo did that shit 2010. Stepped on him. Yeah, Tyran, I killed him too 2011. I killed him too up the apartments playing games, came through the lake playing games, stepped on his bitch ass, came through, let off shots, ain't hit me, double back in 48 minutes and killed that nigga, dummy. You hear me?
Damn.
Stepped on him. Odysse and them try to say I read it. Niggas try to say I read it. So I walked motherfucking side. He through the alley and Rambo court and gave his little ass 10 shots in his head too. Boom, 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 boom. Boom! Then I stood over him, dummy. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck is you talking about? Die around me. Fuck is you talking about? Then I went, dummy, I'm dead, dummy. I'm dead. Then I went down Calhoun Street. And I killed like 3 niggas down there. You feel me? Yes, money. Make sure this shit gets out. You got niggas that's doing time sentence for shit that I done did. You feel me? Cool. I still doing business for the hood. Niggas doing time behind me.
Shout out to Caesar D with the $3 PayPal. He says modern day super gremlins make 80s and 90s thugs look like gentlemen. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But fuck is you talking?
So I mean, you heard it there first, guys. This is the mentality in the community. Okay. This is the mentality in the community. And, you know, when you have guys who are so brazen and don't mind admitting to horrible crimes, you have a problem. Okay? You have a problem. You have issues. You've got something on your hands here that needs addressing. But as a community, we're not really doing that. As a matter of fact, in many ways, the glorification is more present than the condemnation.
Ravi and Cheryl, the FBI Fugitive Task Force is one of several agencies involved in this manhunt. Authorities asking residents to call police, but to avoid engaging that suspect if they spot him.
This newly obtained video shows one of the shootings police are investigating. The suspect in a red Toyota Camry speeding off after police say he wounded a man in the leg. It's one of 4 crime scenes allegedly connected to 23-year-old Romeo Nance.
With a crime of this magnitude, with this heinous act, we are putting everything in our power to bring this individual to justice.
Police say Nance is suspected of shooting and killing 8 people, 7 of them in 2 houses in the 2200 block of West Acres Road.
I've been a policeman 29 years. This is probably the worst crime scene I've ever been associated with.
The motive unclear, but police say Nance knows the victims, and one of the homes is Nance's last known address. The bodies discovered after that residence was placed under police surveillance, following 2 shootings on Sunday, including that one caught on video. It shows a man getting supplies from his car in the 200 block of Davis Street in Joliet. When that Toyota pulls up, a few words are exchanged before the driver pulls away. But moments later, as the 42-year-old victim walks home, the driver pulls around and opens fire. Curtis Ellis is the victim's neighbor.
My wife could have been out there taking groceries out of the car, just like this guy was taking water out of his car. And it doesn't seem like he even knew the guy.
Authorities say 10 minutes after that shooting, Nance...
And I've told you guys Oh shit. My damn camera. I told you guys about the random shootings, right? A lot of these guys, they don't necessarily have to know the victim to commit a crime like this. And this is the highest level of crashing out, in my opinion, right? Crashing out and taking people with you. One of the highest levels of crashing out. But we see this happen way too often in the community.
Shot another man in unincorporated Joliet Township who later died. Police say Nance is 6'2", 160 pounds. That red Toyota Camry has Illinois plate number Q730412. Police say Nance does have a criminal history. In fact, records obtained by the ABC 7i team show about a year ago he was arrested on multiple felony gun charges. Police this evening could not confirm whether or not he's currently out on bond.
Watch breaking.
And we ended up confirming that he was out on some type of supervised release. So, I mean, we should be talking to these prosecutors and these district attorneys because they completely dropped the ball on this one. And in many other instances that we've covered on this channel, we see a deliberate mishandling and, you know, what I would say misconduct even when it comes to handing down these sentences to these repeat offenders. Like these guys, they're just getting too many opportunities to commit evil. And people are trying to blame the police on why they didn't stop them and why. But it's not the police who keep them in jail. It's the police who actually arrest them. But it's up to the prosecutors, the judges, the district attorneys to do their job and make sure that people like this are not back on the street. But in this case, they didn't. So I just want to make sure that we're directing our energy to the people who, you know, are actually most responsible. Shout out to Performa20 with the 1999 Super Trap. He says, the majority of the community thinks that stereotypes were made out of thin air. Much love, Gen Z. Fam, stay safe and stay strapped, especially at the gas station.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Yeah, you're right, because I've told you guys how dangerous these gas stations really are. And they're extremely dangerous. And you can clearly lose your life at one of these gas stations, okay? It's very important to keep your head on a swivel. All right, because a lot of times gas stations are, I don't know why, because they're heavily surveilled. They're so heavily surveilled, but it seems like a go-to spot for these super gremlins to do their dirt at. So
Another breaking news update. We are waiting to hear from police in the murders of 8 people in Joliet. Police say the suspect shot and killed himself in Texas after a manhunt by multiple law enforcement agencies. CBS 2's Mugo Adigwe has new details.
Joliet police say they might give us an update about this case sometime today. We're still waiting to hear more from them. But we know this case involves 3 different locations and happened over a span of 2 days in Joliet. As you mentioned, that suspect was found dead 1,200 miles away in Texas last night. According to Joliet police, the investigation started on Sunday night after 2 separate shootings, one of those shootings deadly. The common link, a red Toyota Camry. The car was registered to the suspect, 23-year-old Romeo Nance. Deputies traced the registration to a home on the 2200 block of West Acres Road. They set up surveillance in the area in case Nance came back. But on Monday, investigators made a horrific discovery. 2 people were found dead inside a house on Acres Road, and across the street where police say relatives of those 2 victims lived, 5 more people were also found shot to death. Investigators still haven't said if those are Nance's family members, only that they are known to Nance. Now, around 8:30 yesterday evening, Joliet police learned Nance had been spotted by U.S. Marshals in Natalia, Texas, about 30 miles southwest of San Antonio. He was found in a car at this Valero gas station. Here's how authorities describe what happened next.
Called, and how we got into this was a possible pursuit coming out of Bexar County, and it ended up here. And at this location, the suspect of multiple homicides was basically cornered, and at some point in there, he took his own life. So that's kind of where we're at.
Police in Texas wouldn't say if there was any exchange of gunfire, but again, we are waiting to see if Joliet police will have an update on this case for us sometime today. We'll keep you updated. In Joliet, Mugo Odigwe, CBS.
Yeah, man. The community is in big trouble. Point blank. And we're going to hear from the police and get a more detailed description of what happened. But the community is in big trouble. Okay. That's just the facts. There's got to be something done. Something has to give. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Last night, a man wanted for killing 7 people in Illinois was found dead after Medina County sheriffs, along with Texas DPS and the U.S. Marshals, tracked him down to a gas station in Natalia.
News 4's Tawny Davis is live this morning with the very latest information. Good morning, Tawny.
Good morning. Here is what we know right now. The man was identified as Romeo Nance, who police encountered at a gas station in Natalia, just 30 miles southwest of San Antonio. The U.S. Marshal Lone Star Task Force tracked down Nance to the Bolero gas station at the Chubby's Travel Center. Authorities believe he killed 7 people on January 21st at 2 separate homes in Joliet, Illinois, which led to a nationwide manhunt. Medina County Sheriff's Office said in a post that they assisted other agencies and that Nance was at a standoff at the gas station, ending up with self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Medina County Sheriff Randy Brown says the scene is secure and there is no threat to the public.
I can tell you that the suspect was neutralized. There's no threat to the community. That's something we were trying to put out on Facebook early because, of course, everybody gets concerned. They don't know what's going on. So we try to, quick as we can figure everything out, we try to let them know there is no threat to the community.
An investigation into this incident is currently underway, and we will bring you the latest information as we learn more. I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
All right, so let's wrap it up by hearing from the police to give us some perspective on what actually occurred. Guys, these stories are really important. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the Super Trap, PayPal, Cash App if you feel so inclined. But these stories are super important. We have to get them out there because it's going to keep somebody safe, and it may potentially save somebody's life as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bill Evans. I'm the chief of police here in Joliet, Illinois. At approximately 12:04 this afternoon, the Joliet Police Department was notified by the Will County Sheriff's Office of an incident here in the 2200 block of West Acres. This incident included several deceased persons in 2 separate residences. A total of 7 people were found shot to death in these 2 locations. We are working very closely with our partners at the Will County Sheriff's Office to locate a suspect in this homicide. On behalf of the Joliet Police Department and the Will County Sheriff's Office, our hearts go out to the victims' families of this heinous crime. We will do everything in our power here at the Joliet Police Department to bring the person responsible for this to justice. We are currently looking for a suspect by the name of Romeo Nance. Nance is 23 years old. He's 6'2", 160 pounds. He's an African-American male. His last known address was right here in the 2200 block. If you have any contact with this suspect, please contact your local authorities. Do not attempt to take this subject into custody on your own. Thank you.
All right, let's fast forward. All right, so I actually want to get into kind of what the community is saying about this shooting. It's very important to get some perspective on what people think about this in the community. So you have one woman saying, y'all love to call everything evil a mental illness. Some shit is just evil, okay? So you have some common sense. That's a relief. This woman says, I don't trust a living soul anymore. This is a sister. She says, I encourage people to discern between demonic and mentally ill. This is demonic. Pray for your protection daily, including everyone connected to you. There are truly demonic, unhinged people amongst us. Wicked times, stay prayed up. Should have done himself first. He was fighting demons, spiritual warfare going on around here. God called him home too. Wow, God called him home. It's crazy. The community thinks everybody's going to heaven. The hell's going on? Them drugs messing up their brains. Nobody wants to admit this, but it's one of the reasons for mental illness. So we're blaming drugs here. Surprised the caption, I think he meant to say, didn't say he was a rapper. Yeah. Let's see. Please stop affiliating non-Chicago news with Chicago. We know we have some traumatizing issues, and for that reason alone, we don't need any more on our city than we've already tried or trying to fix. So, I mean, that's not a bad point. It's a fair point. Let's see. They said don't hashtag Chicago. Yeah, Chicago don't want to claim this one, y'all. Chicago does not want to claim this one. But I believe he was actually from Chicago, though, and he just went to Joliet to commit these crimes, if I'm not mistaken. This is the product of the toxicity that the culture promotes to our youth by design. We need to acknowledge that our skin folk ain't kinfolk. To build our neighborhoods and communities, people like this need to be removed. I'm tired of seeing people make excuses. When we do this to our own, we need to be honest. Some of these folks can't be saved. That's so true. So she says untreated mental health issues. Y'all psychotherapists now. So yeah, some people are using mental health as an excuse, and then some people are completely rejecting the mental health narrative. But you got some mixed reviews there from the community. Some concerning, some refreshing, but I would say it's about 50-50 excuse making and 50-50 accountability.
What kind of sheriff's office has been working this investigation since yesterday?
Oh, shout out to Johnny Rebel with the $5 Rumble rant. Guys, I'm on Rumble too, so make sure y'all go over there and check that out. He says they passed the purge law in Illinois, but they stayed it. Okay. The implementation of it, they could start using that law anytime they want to.
Oh, say less.
And that's scary. He sends another $2 Rumble rant, and he says, ironic, the capture and self-deletion took place. Another $2 Rumble rant. He says, the capture and self-deletion took place on Walton Road. One would think that is a peaceful place, the pond of Henry David Thoreau fame.
Oh, say less.
Yeah, man. Definitely a lot of little ironies in the story that, end up telling a very, very sad story. But, oh, man, it just seems like as a community, we continue to ignore these situations.
when a shooting occurred in our jurisdiction at 5 Pheasant Run Lane in unincorporated Joliet Township. Our officers responded to that resident or to that area for a person found with blood coming out of his head. And upon deputies' arrival, they located a gunshot wound. He was transported from that area to a local area hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The victim in our incident has been identified as Toyosai Bakar. That's Toyosi, first name, last name Bakar, Bakare. He's 28 years old. He is originally from Nigeria and has been living in the Will County area for the past 3 years. Early on in this investigation, we were able to identify a suspect vehicle to our homicide, which coincided with a earlier shooting that happened in Joliet approximately 10 minutes prior to our report. We were able to locate various information on our suspect and search the area for this suspect vehicle. All attempts to locate the suspect have been negative at this time, and the Will County Sheriff's Office is seeking the public help along with the Joliet Police Department in locating this suspect.
Wow.
At this time, at approximately 12 a.m. early today, our officers set up surveillance in this area in an attempt to locate the vehicle, which yielded negative results. At approximately 8:45, at approximately shortly before noon this morning, our officers then went to a residence, located blood outside of the residence, and made entry where they found 2 deceased individuals. And that's when we contacted the Joliet Police Department regarding this incident. That's about all the information.
So y'all get the gist of it, man. This guy, Romeo Nance, he completely crashed out. He's definitely going to go into the Super Gremlin Hall of Fame because killing 8 people, I mean, that's just insane, man. But this is what's going on in the community. This is what has become the norm. I hate to say it, but these Super Gremlins are on demon time. So with that being said, guys, we are going to conclude the stream. I just wanted to bring this one to you real quick. It wasn't going to, it was just too much information to premiere it. So I had to go live on it. But yeah, this guy is definitely a spawn of Satan. And he crashed out. This is a perfect example of a crash out. And I just hope that the community will wake up one day and, you know, realize that what we've been doing, what we've been promoting, what we've been enabling and condoning has been a detriment and a net negative overall to our success as a group. But anyways, you already know what it is, guys. It's your boy, the Black Gen Z Mindset, aka BGZM News 17, aka Jenquavius Jackson, and we are going to send it off to Jenquavius Jackson to take us away. I appreciate you guys for joining the stream. Make sure you hit the Cash App, PayPal, Super Trap, Super Sticker as well on your way out. Leave a comment immediately after the video and like the video, and that would be greatly appreciated. Guys, stay safe, and remember, these Super Gremlins are on demon time. What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these Super Gremlins are on demon time.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers. and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Quavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo!
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
J. Quavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.